We have all been there. You step up to take on a major challenge, and suddenly, a massive wave of anxiety and unworthiness washes over you. This crushing weight stems from a psychological infection, contracted over years of exposure to the skepticism of those around us. We collect these criticisms from family, friends, and colleagues, rarely realizing that we are absorbing their limitations as our own. The real danger of this external noise lies in its invisibility. We move through our daily lives unaware that we are operating on a mental codebase written by our harshest critics. When someone throws an insult our way, we often attempt to deflect it, convincing ourselves that the words carry no weight and have been forgotten. However, identity belief, the fundamental map of who we think we are, functions like this diagram. While we block the large, obvious attacks, these microscopic, jagged particles of casual criticism slip through our mental pores. These micro-criticisms bypass conscious logic entirely. They drift downward, settling into the most vulnerable depths of the unconscious mind, and fusing into a dense, dark cluster. This cluster acts as a malicious program, a negative software that runs constantly in the background. It sends out branching lines to overwrite healthy neural pathways, effectively placing a ceiling on what we believe we can achieve. Success in the external world remains out of reach as long as this internal code is running, because every forward step triggers an automated response of self-sabotage. This internal programming dictates our physical reality. We shrink our ambitions to fit into safe, acceptable boxes, adopting limiting labels just to blend in. Subconscious insecurity often fuels the modern hustle culture narrative. We see it in this endless loop. People grinding through high-stress careers they dislike, driven by an urgent need to prove their worth to people they don't even respect. Sacrificing sleep and personal freedom to outwork the critics only validates the initial feeling of inadequacy. The harder we run on the wheel, the more we reinforce the idea that our worth must be earned through exhaustion. Society rewards this cycle. Those who attempt to step off the track are frequently met with mockery from those who remain trapped in the same loop. This is the trap, trying to resolve an internal identity crisis with high-status, external achievements. It uses the same social benchmarks that generated the criticism in the first place. There is a specific window of time when the brain is most susceptible to locking in these negative patterns. This graph illustrates our brainwave activity. Notice the dramatic upward spike in subconscious receptivity as we enter the pre-sleep zone. In these final moments before sleep, the filters of the conscious mind relax, leaving the door to the subconscious wide open. When we take the day's anxieties and harsh words to bed, the mind stamps that stress into a permanent state. We are essentially encoding the day's failures directly into our long-term identity. By morning, the results are evident. Because that negative code ran all night, the emotional baseline has dropped. We wake up with depleted energy and a sense of dread that colors the day ahead. This nighttime habit allows passing remarks to transform into permanent internal barriers. However, this period of high receptivity also provides the exact mechanism required to overwrite the corrupted files in our mental operating system. Building a resilient identity belief requires a conscious internal effort to displace the programming installed by others. This process centers on a 21-day nighttime practice designed to use that pre-sleep window to introduce new, empowering data. The protocol begins with a deliberate shift in focus. You must look past the immediate worries of the day to recall specific instances of past triumphs and genuine appreciation you've received. As you drift towards sleep, you repeat thoughts of self-trust and abundance. The goal is to pair these ideas with the emotional weight of your past successes, creating a new, positive association. Over time, the tension of the day's negative software begins to lose its grip. As these new associations take hold, the mental state shifts toward a sense of quiet capability and reset. Committing to this for 21 consecutive days allows the new code to take root. By systematically replacing the critic's voices with your own evidence of worth, you build an unshakable foundation of self-belief. This reprogrammed identity changes how you interact with the world. social mockery and skepticism lose their ability to influence your choices. Success is redefined by your internal standards rather than external labels, allowing you to move through life with a newfound sense of autonomy. The proof of this change is the courage to walk away. You gain the power to leave high-status, high-stress roles in favor of paths that offer genuine peace and freedom. We often chase a massive paycheck in search of freedom, but it more often resides in the ability to live entirely in the present, acting as your own master. Mastering your internal identity renders external critics irrelevant. When the internal code is secure, the voices that once held you back simply cease to exist in your reality.